LSU Sports Radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrecht and Tommy Kester.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome into Sports Daily. Jacob Albrecht, Paul Savage here. It's a Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday, and it's good that it is because we're ready to party on this hump day. Glad to be with you today. Paul in for Tommy. Jad Chambers producing. We got a packed house coming for you on the program today. So here we go. Let's get you prepared for it. We had two big college basketball games last night. I say big because our teams are playing. Kansas and Kansas State. We'll dig into those. We'll have our KU insider Shreyas Laddha in later this hour to help us there. And then we sort of go real heavy with guests. So after Shreyas Laddha, we will get to Kevin Saal, who will join us. Wichita State Athletic Director should be on with us for his bi-weekly visit. And then we are also expecting in the second hour to have a conversation with Friends football coach Terry Harrison. Good timing to have Paul in here, former Friends coach himself, but they've got a big playoff game coming up this weekend. So we will have all of that for you today as far as the guests go. We'll also give away some HTO later in the program, so make sure you stay tuned for your opportunity to win some free iced tea and some free coffee. We've got that for you. We'll get to the CFP rankings. It is a packed house. We're ready to party. It's a Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday. Paul, how are you?
I'm good. Boy, I am tired now that you ran through that whole roster of stuff to do. I'm already worn out, big boy.
Yeah, look, Paul, it's that time of year, though, isn't it? We got college basketball. We got, everything's sort of piling in together here, right in the crux of college football. So this is great. This is the best time of year.
We could almost make a full show out of the NFL if we wanted to, but we can't. And, of course, I don't know how much this show's talked about the Cleveland Cavaliers. They lost their first. There's all
zero, Paul. It's not the NBA season yet, is it? Outside of Grady Dick having a really nice start to his year.
Right. Well, we'll go there. Yeah, the wins and losses in the NBA, they will count towards the final, total of wins and losses. So yeah, it's here, but obviously it's not a big deal. Not when you got Wichita State, K-State, KU. They're all on the line. We're all still, we're still figuring these teams out. I don't know that anybody has full
no, we don't. We
got a ways to go.
We'll get into that. Yeah, we'll get into that here. By the way, the IHOP hotline is open for you right now. But again, we will have some guests. So if you want to get it on the IHOP hotline, do it quick. It's the official breakfast partner of Xbox, celebrating the exclusive Xbox merchandise, games, reward offers for loyalty members of IHOP. It's 869-1240 if you want to get in touch with the show that way. You can also, of course, get in touch with the show on our video streams, which are available to you on Facebook, on YouTube, on X, and always on 12 News Connected. So glad to have that. Shreyas coming up. Paul, let's talk a little college basketball last night. Now, look. It's a hard, we got a lot going on. They're 7:00 tips, able to catch some of the endings of these games. But what'd you think overall? Let's start with K-State, a game they were 40-point favorites, but they didn't cover 40. Obviously, they didn't come particularly close. Actually, they win the game by 18 to what KenPom says is the worst team in the country. They were disappointed, I know, with their performance against LSU. Look, they got it done, and they got it done in the second half much better than they did in the first half, 49-33. But if you break down the halves, you didn't like the offense in the first half. I didn't love the defense in the second half, Paul. It's an 18-point win, but they were 40-point favorites against the worst team in college basketball at home. I am moderately concerned about that performance last night.
Well, it's hard to get up against a team as you just described as
shouldn't be when you're coming off the loss to LSU.
I get it. And what did we get from this game last night? Nothing. More questions. I didn't get the answers. You didn't get the answers. I don't think anybody did. This is a team that, but quite frankly, I wasn't sure the over under was high enough. But anyway, with that being said, obviously, this was a situation. Listen, I'm going to chalk this up to one thing, if you don't mind, Jacob. I'm going to chalk this up to you've got the worst team in the country, supposedly, coming into your place to play, and you're going to, you're not going to get up. You're not going to fire up. This isn't a big deal. This is a team that you might want to scrimmage earlier in the year. Right. So I'm going to chalk this up to disinterest, to looking past this game, and I think that was a big part of it. But and it did not seem to me that anybody was really concerned. I saw a few of the interviews after the game, coaches and players. I'm not sure that anybody seemed overly concerned, and probably rightfully so. This isn't where, if you're on that coaching staff, you're going to lay the line down and say, guys, how come we're not, more concerned about this? This is not that game for that. So I can see this. It's over. You got to win. Was it embarrassing? No, but I mean, we all know it was
embarrassing at halftime.
What? Look, I don't. Was it 2 or 3 point? What was it? 2-point lead, 3-point lead. It was something like that.
I don't want to be overly critical. They won the game by 18.
That's correct. That is correct.
But I want to be honest. And if we're being honest, that was not a good performance last night. There are a couple of things I think that must get back. Something to watch, something we need to sort of pay attention to. It was a really bad shooting night from 3 for K-State. 3 of 23. Really bad. Much like Wichita State, although it's against a far inferior opponent than Wichita State played on Monday, they were able to overcome that and find different ways to score. It was Onyenso off the bench, interestingly, who scored 16 points. And they just said, you know what, we've got a size advantage. Let's utilize it. So 2 things. That's a positive. It's not a positive that they went 3 from 23 from the line, though. They can't do that. Hausen, who has been really good, only 2 of 11. Jones, only 2 of 7. 0 of 4. Jones was 0 of 4 from 3. Coleman Hawkins, though, Paul, and look, we've got a listener quickly, Rick, pointing out that he's, he was quite notably one of the highest earning NIL players in college basketball history. He is not performing yet offensively. Now, he did have 13 rebounds. He did have 3 steals. So I think when you see those categories still lifted, you're not worried about an effort thing. But I am worried about the offense there for Coleman Hawkins. Before that night, he scored 5, 12, and 8 points in his games. He's only had 1 game where he shot over 42% or over 40%, I should say. And in the other 3, he hasn't been much offensively, and they're going to need him to be. He's a big part of the equation. I don't know what's going on there. We'll ask Wyatt Thompson or Tim Fitzgerald maybe tomorrow about what has been the struggle offensively for him. I'm glad the effort's there. I'm glad he's working hard and trying to work through it, but they're going to need more offense out of him because I think, a lot of people, Paul, the offense for this team is sort of saw it as a 3-point shooting team that can get some scoring down low with Hawkins and Gasson. And last night, they didn't get the 3-point shooting. That's a perfect opportunity for Coleman Hawkins to dominate against a team like that.
Right.
And he didn't do it again. And so I do think of all the concerns, that is clearly the most concerning thing.
Well, and I would have said to you before this game, I would have said, how many guys are going to be in double-digit scorings? And you basically had 2 guys from Kansas State in double-digit scoring. The leading scorer had 12 points. The next guy had 10 points. From there, you go down into single digits. I would have said you're going to have 4 to 5 guys in double digits on this game.
And look, if they shoot better, they would. Yeah, they shoot better, they would. They didn't shoot the ball well from 3. No. And so that's going to happen anytime to any team. You don't like that it happened at home. You don't like that it happened to this team, whatever. But when that happens, Paul, I don't think you're looking for, and I'm not taking anything away from Onyenso. I'm glad he was great, and maybe that's a big development for down the road for this team, 16 points in 12 minutes. But that ought to be what Coleman Hawkins does in that situation, right? Inferior opponent. We don't have the shots tonight. That's a spot where you'd like to see Coleman Hawkins just feast and eat offensively. He didn't do it. He was 1 for 11. So we'll get to the bottom of it. I didn't see every minute of this game. I was trying to bounce around, and I was trying to coach my daughter's 4th grade basketball team. But I was in and out of it, and I'll go back and watch it and scout it to figure out what was going on there. But but just, at the surface level, we had fun yesterday with can K-State cover a 40-point spread against a team that not that long ago lost to Missouri, who's not very good, by 74 points. Literally, analytically, the worst team so far this year in college basketball at the Division I level. And you get them by 18 at home. You only lead by 2 at half. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. Like, right. I'm not going to make excuses for a team that I have high expectations for, and that's not good enough last night.
No. And you have listen, do we have, well, let me just ask you this question. You just kind of raised something in the back of my mind all of a sudden. What are the expectations for Kansas
For me?
State? Well, yeah. Well, and let me do this. Compare them to this time last year. Compare your expectations.
Much higher than they were this time last year. Much higher. Much higher. Last year we had a lot going on. You had the Naquan Tomlin situation. I don't know if that had already happened by this point, but he never played. They had lost, their 2 star players that they leaned into so heavily the year before. They've got a talented roster on paper. This is a team that needs to be back to the NCAA tournament, and this is a team, for me, that needs to be in the top half of the Big 12. That's my expectation.
Got it. Got it.
So I'm going to hold them to it, right? And until we just find out they aren't as talented as I thought they were, which I don't think is still the case. They're just not playing particularly well in their last 2 games. Well, we've got Fitz in tomorrow. We can get into that a little bit with him. He'll have scouted it and gone back through and put his guys through the ringer on it.
Right. And one last question before we go to break. Did your daughter's team win their game?
Practice last night. Practice.
Oh, it was practice.
Yeah, practice. We play on the weekends, and we're 2-2, I think. But we're undersized. We're playing up, Paul. We're playing with younger girls.
Okay,
but we fight hard. You'd be proud of it. It's the old. You've got 5 fouls. You better be using them. Philosophy for us.
Like, we want aggressive. Down, that's for sure.
Yeah, we want you aggressive, undersized forever. Just give the maximum effort. All right. Let's do this. We've got Shreya Slaughter coming up a little later in this hour. So let's go to those CFP rankings. We may not have another opportunity. They're certainly interesting here in the third rendition of them. So we'll go there next. We'll get more college hoops talk and some. We got a lot going on today, so we're going to get through it here. Mornings at KFH, we enjoy Prairie Fire Coffee. Appreciate their support of the show. Appreciate their coffee coming at us. We are going to get you to those CFP rankings next on Sports Daily. It's Albrocht and Savage. Don't go away.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch. 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily. Holidays at Crestview Country Club are the place to be. They've got a big Thanksgiving brunch coming up. They'll send Thanksgiving food home with you for you to cook. They've got New Year's events, all kinds of activities there at the club for adults and for the kids. If you want to learn about the memberships that have just that stuff, if you're not a golfer, give them a call. Tell them we sent you here from Sports Daily. All kinds of good memberships. And of course, if you are a golfer, they get 36 holes. And well, it doesn't get any better than that. All right, welcome back into Sports Daily. Paul, let's pivot from college hoops to talk a little college football here. In the college football rankings, we'll have Shreyas Laddha in next segment, our KU insider, to go through the game last night for KU, looking forward, and of course, some KU football in about 10, 15 minutes from now. So,
well, go ahead.
Everybody's fired up, Paul, that Boise State is a projected 4 seed. What was your initial thought on that?
I was shocked. I was literally shocked. I mean, is there any way in the world that, I'm always for the underdog. Oh my gosh, I am always for the underdog, but it's got to be earned. It's got to be one of those. It's got to be Cinderella for me before I really take notice. Now, am I pulling for Boise State? I became a Boise State fan when that one kid like 15 years ago proposed to his cheerleader girlfriend live on television. I kept thinking to myself, what if she says no? That would have been an embarrassment. But anyway, I have always enjoyed Boise State. I've enjoyed their blue field, everything about them. But Are they one of the 4 best teams in America?
No,
Why
that's they're not. The college football playoff system is telling you that they're the 12th best team in America.
That's where all my rankings say they are, number 12. Do they belong in the playoffs? Well, I think they are the best non-major conference team in America. That's what I really do believe. And I do think that. But are they worthy of a bye? That's my question. Are they worthy of a bye? I don't know. I don't know.
Is BYU worthy of a bye?
Not now. No, not in the well.
Is Arizona State worthy of a bye?
Of course not. No.
Is Colorado worthy of a bye?
There is no Big 12 team that's going to get a bye.
That's not. I don't think that's true. See, here's the problem. It's too early.
Going to get a bye. Well,
it's too early to get angry yet. If you're the Big 12, the reality is, if you stack resume to resume, you'd have to squint and maybe try a little harder. But you could probably. I'm not like outraged that on November 20th, based on what we've seen, Boise State is higher. Their only loss was a really close loss at Oregon, right? Who is the top seed right now. They lost that game in Oregon by 3 points. Now,
I watched that. Yep.
The counter to that is that they haven't played a tough schedule. UNLV, who's in the CFP rankings at number 24, they beat them at their place. And they played a Mountain West schedule. Washington State, they beat pretty handily, quite frankly. Well. And there was a point where Washington State was up there. Now they've fallen out. So what will happen over time as they finish the season with Wyoming and Oregon State and whatever else happens in their conference for a championship there, which they still have to win, by the way. If they don't win that, they fall out, obviously. So what you've got is, it's just a timing thing, Paul. Whoever ends up winning the Big 12, whether that be BYU or Colorado or Arizona State, who's back in the mix now, or any large number of teams who would need to most likely win their last 2 to do it, are going to get in. Now, what is the scenario, I suppose, where this holds true? That a team with 3 losses gets into the championship game and wins the championship game, and Boise sits there with 1 loss and a best Big 12 team has 3, then you'll probably see this hold true, right? That's probably what would happen. So there is a world where this could happen, but it's not like it's not going to be deserved. A 1-loss Boise State team whose only loss is a 3-point loss at Oregon versus a 3-loss Big 12 team. Sorry. Like, that's just kind of what it is. It is what it is. Now, my guess is that somebody runs through the Big 12 and will only have 2 losses. And ultimately, whatever team that is that gets through with 2 losses will then go back ahead of Boise State and will get the bye. If it doesn't happen, the Big 12 didn't earn it this year. The Big 12's been too up and down. Now, that's not a knock necessarily on the Big 12 because I think it's a really competitive league, which makes it so much fun. But there's no dominant team in the Big 12 this year. Right? I mean, let's be honest. There's not. And I don't even know who the closest thing to that is. I suppose at this point it's Colorado. But when you're looking at teams like Oregon and Ohio State, right, and Texas and Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee, like those teams right now feel a step ahead of what the Big 12 can offer. Mm-hmm. And right now you've got, look, the top SEC team is Texas, right? If they lose, you've got a mess in the SEC too. And it's kind of at a lower level facing the same issue the Big 12 is, that it's too deep. And then you've got the Big 10 sitting over here, who's very top heavy with, Oregon and Ohio State and Penn State and Indiana. Go look at Indiana's schedule, Paul. Like, they haven't played anybody. They haven't played anybody.
Well, they have Ohio State coming up, I think in 2 weeks? I think it's 2 weeks.
Yeah, they have Ohio State, and that's this weekend. It's the game of the week.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah, they have Ohio State this weekend, and then if they, whatever happens, they may still play in a Big 10 championship game. So they'll have at least a couple of games. But what you've got here, and this is what will be interesting, this is the bigger discussion, because the SEC is facing the same issue the Big 12 is facing right now. It's too competitive. Whereas the Big 10, which is so top heavy, they don't more than half of their schedule ends up being cupcakes, right? You've got Ohio State. Ohio State has played 2 good teams this year. 2. Oregon who they lost to, and Penn State, who they beat. That's it. Now they'll play Indiana. So they will have had 3 quality games on their schedule. Okay. You go to Penn State. Let's just take a look at what Penn State has done this year. We just talked about Indiana. Okay. Penn State, they beat Illinois, who at the time was good. I don't know that we'd still say that. They lost to Ohio State. They haven't played anybody else. But USC on the road in overtime? Is that what you're hanging your hat on?
Mm-hmm.
So, we have this issue, and the issue right now is in the Big Ten. The Big Ten, they're just not playing enough good teams. It's such a big league that they water down their schedule with cupcakes. And you don't get that in the Big 12 or the SEC. There aren't a lot of cupcakes in the Big 12 or the SEC. Now, do I think that Ohio State and Oregon, right, and probably Penn State are 3 of the top, 12 teams in the absolutely they are. Maybe we'll see Indiana. They got to prove it for me. But yes, I do. But should they be in there ahead of, Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss? What do you think would happen if Penn State played if Penn State played Georgia or Alabama tomorrow?
Well, I think that there's a good chance that the SEC team will win because they're more. Do I dare say
better? I think they're better. I mean, I think right. It's that nothing changed. Nothing changed with the SEC, right? It's still the SEC. They still have all the best athletes. So that's the bigger issue to me with the college football. It's not that Boise State is ahead of a Big 12 team, because I think you can absolutely justify that. It's that we have all these Big 10 teams at the top who are watering it down because they haven't played anybody. Now, they'll play each other in some combination that will begin to whittle them down. And then when that happens, the Big 12 will have its opportunity to rise back up. And that's what I mean. It's just too early.
We're going to wrap this up, but I still do not understand why Boise State has a bye according to the playoffs.
Because they're ranked ahead. Look, Paul, the byes go to the top 4 ranked conference champions. And right now they're ranked higher than the Big 12. If they win a conference, if you took it on November 20th.
Okay. But it's not a major. I got you. I mean,
it doesn't matter that it's the highest ranked conference champions.
Don't get it. I still don't get it. But I got you. I know what you're saying.
Don't get it. You don't get it technically, or you don't understand how they're higher.
No, I just don't understand the high priority put on a conference like.
Well, because the Big 12 the Big 12 has too many losses. Again, it's November 20th. Paul, I'm telling you right now, if there's a 2-loss Big 12 team or less when the dust settles that wins a conference championship in Dallas, they'll be ahead of Boise State if Boise State wins the rest of its games.
Why did you just say that at the beginning?
They will repass them. If BYU or Colorado or Arizona State ends up as the Big 12's champion with 2 or fewer losses, they will pass Boise State, who has only 1. And even if they have only 1, they'll repass them because they'll have played a bunch of great games down the stretch to get there. And they'll put them higher. They will.
You've given me my faith
back. My word. Mark my words, Paul.
I will mark it down right now.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we plan to connect with Shreyas Laddha, our KU insider. Boy, KU can play spoiler in that plan we were just talking about. They certainly can. We'll get there. We'll get his take on the college football play. See if he agrees with me on that, by the way. And then we'll get into, of course, the game last night for KU and UNC Wilmington. That's all coming for you on Sports Daily. Don't go away. It's Albrecht and Savage on a Wednesday.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere. Bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems
Why are they hiding it?
and real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Kansas Jayhawks. Let's go now to the KU football and basketball beat writer from the Kansas City Star, Shreyas Laddha.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Welcome back in our regular Wednesday visits with our KU insider, who you can always find his work at the KC Star, beat reporter there for football and basketball on social media. Still not on board with Hawaiian Shirt Wednesdays for some reason. I'm not sure what the problem is there.
Come on,
what the issue is for Shreyas, but that's okay because You can be late to the party, but boy, we're gonna look back on this, and you'll be down the road here when the movement takes and catches fire, and you're like, man, I wish I'd have gone in on that earlier.
It's my fault. Honestly, it's I get busy with work or I'm sleeping in until 9:15, and I was like, I've radio experience hit, but also I got KU football right after this, so I'm not showing up in a Hawaiian shirt for that.
Now, let me ask you this, Shreyas. I would be willing. You'd be just fine showing up to a KU basketball presser in a Hawaiian, right? It's sort of a different personality there between Bill Self and Lance Leipold.
I think he'd ask why I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt. I mean, I think I could get away with it now.
And you could tell him, and then he could jump on board with the movement. He'd be like, you know what? That's a fantastic idea. I think I'm gonna join. Look, the weather's getting cold. Why not?
It is. That's true. That's true.
We don't like it. You can be like Paul. Now, I don't know if I'm bold enough to go with Paul's style choice on the Hawaiian over the top of a hoodie.
Yeah, but it's 35 degrees outside.
You could wear a jacket on top of the Hawaiian shirt, Paul. Like you could do that, and then you wouldn't have to.
That thought never crossed my mind.
Yeah. All right, let's start with some hoops, Shreyas. And by the way, if you're wondering what we're talking about, and we're a bunch of idiots, right? You can go to the video stream and watch and see why we celebrate Hawaiian Shirt Wednesdays. Facebook, YouTube, X, and on 12 News Connected. Shreyas, last night, UNC Wilmington, 18-point win, right around the number. It was 23. They didn't get there. I think everything was fine. The big concern, right, is Flory Badunga had to leave the floor with injury. I know it sounded like in postgame, Bill Self didn't seem overly concerned, but that's obviously where the attention sits in the very immediate future.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, the good thing is they have a nice little break until they play Duke in the Vegas showdown on Tuesday. So if it's an ankle thing, you hope it's kind of mild, which it is. It's an ankle thing, but you hope it's mild enough where it doesn't really affect him too much. I think Bill said the idea was, he'd be kind of off the next 2 days and back to normal, ideally Friday. So we'll see if that timeline kind of follows. I think we're talking to those guys again Friday, but I don't think we're going to get much out of there because knowing Bill, we'll be like, well, guys, we haven't practiced yet. That's the word we get a lot when we ask about injury stuff. But I think it'll be interesting to see. He's become kind of a really important member of this Jayhawk squad. He's clearly the best backup for Hunter Dickinson. And
that's what I was going to say. Who else is there right now to play that spot?
Zach Clements. And, it's yeah, I think that's kind of where we're at with the Zach Clements experience. And it's no disrespect to him, but Flory's just, you can see the promising talent and why he was so highly recruited. And I think he's going to be their best big man since Embiid. I don't know if that's too early to say that, but I really believe that.
Well, he fits. He sort of fits a mold, right? That's been so successful for them. Doak. Mm-hmm. They've had a ton of them. They've had a ton of them. He looks like that kind of player, like that kind of center, right? To me, at least, that will be where the offense starts, dominant force, leads to great opportunities for other players and the guards. Like he looks more like that than I don't even know what to compare, but more than what they've had the last few. Hunter's a little different too, but just like that athletic, dominating physical presence down there.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I mean, I think they've done a really good job of looking at, kind of the archetype that they want. He's a rim running big man that can defend. That's like the ideal, I think, in the Bill Self system. Hunter's, I think, their best big man they've had in a long time. I think the only difference between Hunter and Flory is I think Flory's just a much better defender. I mean, I think that plays a long way role. Obviously it's so early and we have to see how the season plays out, but I think there's a argument to be made that is difficult to go on a deep title run unless you really surround him with talent and the right pieces. Versus I think Flory is much easier to build around because of his kind of skill set. I'm really excited to kind of see his development. I think from just kind of talking to NBA draft guys, they're paying attention to him, whether it's this year or next year. He's probably gone within the next, year or two. He's a lottery pick, I think, if he keeps up his kind of growth. And as an NBA guy, that's always exciting to kind of see because you see the development of these guys. You see what the NBA is looking for. And Bill Self does a tremendous job of bringing out the stuff the NBA player or NBA teams want to see. And I think a lot of times Kansas players sometimes get overdrafted because he's such a good coach.
Sharius, I'm really not hyped over this game. This is a game we all knew KU would win. It was just a matter of how many points would they win by. So I really, this game is done and over for me personally. But I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to next week in Duke. And there's a reason I really want to watch Duke is because I'm still trying to figure out this young freshman by the name of Cooper Flagg. This kid looks like the real deal. Now, I haven't had a chance to watch a ton of him, but what I have seen, he looks like the real deal. Am I wrong on that, Sharius?
I think he's going to be tremendous. He's one of those one-and-done prospects that he's probably going to finish top 3 in that lottery. I mean, this NBA draft class is going to be disgustingly good with the guys that are coming out from, college basketball and even, some of the older, international prospects and all that. But I think it's going to be really fun to see how Kansas defends him, how he does against Kansas. I know Bill Self is going to have him in a kind of a box, and he's going to have, he's going to do something that I think, a lot of teams won't do. And he's going to be like, okay, Cooper Flagg, go beat me. Or he's going to say, hey, Duke, the rest of Duke beat me. We're going to just double Cooper Flagg at all times. I think it's going to be a really good test for him because this is an older Kansas team filled with pretty good guards that can defend well. And DeJuan Harris, AJ Story, those are guys who, if they play, especially if they play with effort, they're good defenders. And I think it's going to be a big test for KU because Cooper Flagg is probably the most talented player they've played so far. It might be the most talented player they play all year.
Okay. Well, I mean, they're going to match up against these guys in the post. What about the guards? I went into yesterday's game and I thought, boy, what a perfect opportunity for Storr and Griffin to flex a little bit. I do think before this is all said and done, and right now, and DeJuan Harris was, whatever random games he's going to choose to be the offensive guy on, but it's been Zeke Mayo as the other scoring option from Hunter Dickinson. What has taken Griffin and Storr so long? Because I think the plan has been for them to be big offensive threats, right, this year. What is slowing them down a little bit offensively here early on?
Well, I think AJ is just thinking too much. I think him coming off the bench has clearly been an adjustment period. You go from a guy who has the ball in his hands as much as he did in Wisconsin to having play winning basketball into the Bill Self system. It's an adjustment. He said it himself. He's like, that said the biggest difference between last year and this year is learning how to play winning basketball every single play. And that seems to be something Bill Self is stressing. And you can see it in spurts why he's so talented. He goes downhill like in an instant. He's great around the rim. And Rylan, I think Rylan is just in kind of a shooting slump. He's a guy who was a starter at Alabama that made a deep run. I'm not worried about Rylan Griffin. I think if there is a transfer that I think was super hyped to come in that might be a little bit of worry, it's AJ Storr, because I think the adjustment of playing a different role, not having the ball in your hands as much, is very different than what he did. And I think he'll figure it out. But I think Rylan Griffin's going to be a key player for them as they make this deep tournament run that they hope to make. And Zeke Mayo, too. I wrote it today. The story I had come out this morning is Kansas isn't shooting that well from three. They're shooting 34.7% from three this year. Last year, they were at 33%. They're not taking a lot of threes either. Like they're 300 in three-point rate. Last year, they were like 334th, so it's a little better, I guess. I trust the personnel to figure it out, but they just have to take more threes, especially against quality competition. Nobody was hitting threes against USC or Michigan State or UNC. And I think that is going to be something to monitor for this Kansas team. Not to be like it's a math thing, but at a certain point, it's a math thing.
What's the number? If they took 25 last night, and obviously they weren't shooting it well, so they kind of went away from it. Which, if you're not, you can't keep shooting it if you're not making it. But what is the number for you then?
I think ideally you're hoping to make 7 or 8 a game. You want that because it puts you in every game, and they have the offense on the other flip side of if the threes aren't quite following on that number, that they can probably eke out victories. But 7 or 8 gives you a lot of leeway in a lot of these games. And last year they made 5.7 per game. So if you kind of have him at like 7.5, 8 makes a game, I think this team is much improved. And offensively, even just scoring inside, they're much better than last year. But it's clear to me this team needs 3-point shooting because you can see the spacing for Hunter Dickinson when they have 3-point shooting following. At this point, it seems like opponents respect KU's 3-point shooting enough where they're defending the 3-ball hard. But I think there might be a certain point where if they keep on shooting badly or not enough threes, that they're going to be in a bit of an issue where the spacing isn't as good as they were.
There were enough threes though, right, last night, because if you're wanting to shoot, if you're going to make 7 in an ideal world, what would you need to take, like 19 to 18 to be in that range, that that percentage that you like? They took 25 last night, and I'm with you. It doesn't feel quite as alarming, and I know we've only played a handful of games.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't feel quite as alarming last year because I think most of the time they are going to make more of them. And maybe that's just a Mayo thing. But yeah, I think those other two guys have got to make some. Storer and Griffin have got to, they have got to make some threes, or Diggy Coit's going to play more.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because I was looking at this, and you think they are not making threes, but every single one of those guys, along with Diggy Coit, is shooting about 35% from a year. It's just because they haven't been doing it against real competition. They're doing it against like the Oakland and the Howard of the world. Right. To me, that means nothing. Like I don't really care about.
Last night was a better.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, like the UNCW is a solid team, but again, that's another basically a bye game. I want them to take more threes and make more threes against real competition. Michigan State, UNC, you're going to get a good test against Duke. Duke is limiting teams to shooting 25% from 3 this year, 25.7 or something like that. Like that is going to be a big test for this KU team. And if you're shooting, like they haven't hit above 30% this year outside of Oakland and Howard. Like that to me, for how good this team on paper is a little concerning. I'm not there at the point of like, okay, we need to talk about the 3-point shooting. I asked Bill about it. He was kind of pretty nonchalant about it. I don't blame him. It's 5 games. There's a lot to kind of be settled down and set in, but I try to notice trends before they happen. And last year I noticed the 3-point shooting trend. I'm noticing it this year. Maybe it's not quite as alarming as last year, but it's something to monitor because at a certain point we're going to have this, okay, well, maybe they really weren't as good as we thought they were if they're not hitting threes at the rate that they want them to, or, Bill wanted 40%. They're not anywhere near 40% at this point. 34.7 is barely above what they had last year. It's just not good enough.
Yeah, well, look, I agree. It's not. It's just now it's more of the question of, is it going to be better, right? It never got better last year. It just never did.
Mm-hmm.
Paul mentioned Duke, and they're good players. It is an interesting part of the schedule, and then we'll flip to football, to just sort of kind of have the flip-flopping here. Duke and then a Furman, and then you got Creighton on the road, Missouri on the road. Like then you got some, or not at home, I should say. Then you got some tough games again. It'll take their best game to beat Duke, right? Like we're kind of all with Duke. I know they lost to Kentucky, but there's not anybody that doesn't think Duke's good. Good news for KU. Duke has to go play Arizona on Friday before they play them, right? There's your advantage.
Yeah, it's going to take their A game. I think Duke is the best opponent they've played this year. I think they're going to give them some problems that I think UNC can't do, nor could Michigan State do. Michigan State just wasn't a good enough offensive team, and UNC had nobody inside to guard Hunter Dickinson. I think Duke is a good enough offensive team, and they can certainly throw more bodies at Hunter Dickinson than UNC or Michigan State could. I think it'll be really interesting to see how they deal with the Cooper Flag issue. I wonder if they play a certain type of defense, maybe box and one, or maybe they even just kind of let him get his and kind of shut down everybody else. That might be kind of what they're hoping to do, but it'll be a good test. I think KU is going to be fine. I'm not worried long-term about this team. For me, it's just certain trends and things that I'm paying attention to is the Flory Badunga development, the AJ Storr development, and who is better between Shaquille Moore and Diggy Coit. I think they're two different players, but are they going to affect each other's rotation minutes? Because you can't really have two short guards on the court a lot in conference play, But those are the couple things I'm kind of paying attention to. And just 3-point shooting. I'm always paying attention to 3-point shooting because in modern basketball, it's a numbers game. I always advocate for shooting more threes. I know it doesn't matter as much in college basketball, but the way the teams that have won the NCAA title the last couple of years have done, they have to shoot at a rate that's at least above, like 260 3-point rate, like in KenPom.
Well, Sharius, let's switch over to football for just a moment. If you don't mind, we'll wrap up this show. Just right after that K-State loss, we were talking about the University of Kansas in football, and you brought up the fact that somehow if they could win 4 straight, they'd be in a bowl game. And initially, after picking myself up off the floor laughing so hard, I said, well, something? I got to thinking about that, and I said, Sharius, do you remember me stating this is what legends are made of?
Yeah.
If you win 4 straight, people will talk about this team forever. You will become a legend. And here we are, halfway through 4 games, 2 wins over teams that, quite frankly, are good, really good football teams. 2 to go. Where are we at on the legend meter at this time?
I think we're getting dangerously close to insane optimism in the KU fan base. But I'm here to put some cold water on the fire burning. Geez. Listen. I have to be I'm objective. I am a little bit concerned about KU's pass defense against Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. I think it is going to be really interesting in this Saturday matchup. If they win on Saturday, everyone come back and say, I told you so. But I really, really am a little worried about how they're going to defend Travis Hunter, number one, and if they're going to stop Shedeur Sanders. They haven't been able to get pressure the quarterback consistently throughout the season. That's going to be big because Sanders is kind of a statue out there in the pocket. He's not a runner. He doesn't run the ball as well as most, quarterbacks do. But he can throw the ball better than anybody else in this conference, ideally. He's a guy who's going to go play on Sundays. This is going to be a really big test for Kobe Bryant and Mello Dotson. And I can't wait to talk to Kobe in an hour-ish today because I'm sure he'll say something that will be quotable and something that'll be fun to kind of talk about. But I think if they limit their mistakes on the offensive end, and this is what it comes down to, then I think they have a good shot to beat Colorado. The defense is the thing that worries me, and it's the thing that consistently worries me week in, week out.
The defense was better, not great last week, but better. And I would just say this: run the ball. You want to help your defense? Give the ball to Devin Neal and Highshaw a ton. Colorado at times this year has struggled with that. Run the ball. Keep them off the field. Don't you think?
No, I agree. I think the goal should be keeping Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders off the field together as much as possible. Everything in their power should be done to do that. I think it is going to be paramount because we have seen good passing quarterbacks slice up the KU defense this year. TCU, UNLV a little bit, even Illinois at times. Well, not Illinois, but at times. But there are good quarterbacks in this league, that have sliced open this KU defense. And there's a lot of bend, don't break being played by this defense at this point. I mean, we can talk about the defense being better, but let's be honest. If if Mello Dotson doesn't read that fade route perfectly, we're talking about another disappointing end to a first half for this KU defense. And I think it's going to be a great game. I'm excited. This is the game I was looking forward to most before the season started. I'm a Coach Prime guy. I think he's a great villain in college football. I think he makes it a lot better. And I'll have a story coming out later about how they're apparently good friends, which I asked that question and Lance looked at me and was like, oh, why are we so different? I was like, he's kind of you're a little quieter to, the media. And he kind of chuckled a little bit, but it's really interesting. They're both program builders. They're both very different personalities, but I think it's so cool that, you have a guy like Coach Prime in college football. He's the greatest villain in college football, and I always root for villains because I think it makes sports more interesting.
He makes it better. He makes it better. He just does. That game, it's coming this weekend. KU only a 2.5-point dog at home-ish, right, at Arrowhead.
Oh,
59.5 point spread. It's a 2:30 kick. It's the Fox game. All eyes will be on KU. Great opportunity for them. You can find all of Shreya's work to get ready for that game, get ready for that Duke game. It's all coming to you at the KC Star. Follow him on X at SHRE98. Shreya's, we appreciate it. Nice job.
Yeah.
A lot to cover this time of year, and this will be a really fun week of KU sports.
Thanks, guys. Always a pleasure.
There goes Shreya's Latta. We're going to come back. We're a little bit late. We've got Kevin Saul, we believe, teed up for the top of the next hour. A lot to get to with Kevin, especially with men's basketball off to an unbeaten start. So we'll cover all of that for you as we make our way through. Don't go away. We got more Sports Daily coming your way right after this.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch. 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems
Why are they hiding it?
and real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrocht and Tommy Kester.
Hey, Shocker fans, want the latest on Wichita State athletics? Let's go right to the source with Shocker AD Kevin Saul.
And welcome back in to Sports Daily. It's Jacob Albrocht. It's Paul Savage. It's Kevin Saul, Wichita State Athletic Director, in for a bi-weekly visit. Always appreciate the visits as we make our way through a very busy time of the year, a time where we've got postseason volleyball right on the docket coming up here quick. We've got the start of men's and women's basketball. Kevin, how are you this morning?
Doing well, Jacob. How are you? Paul, hope that things are well.
Thank you.
We're good. Just, celebrating all by ourselves on a Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday. We just can't get it to catch the fire we need it to here. You got to beat the cold.
Text me the day before that, and I'll make sure I'm wearing mine. And we'll join you on video. We can do that.
There you
go. We have to do something to combat the colder weather coming. We have to.
I'm with you. It's all a mindset. I've got a Hawaiian shirt it's a Cubs shirt that looks Hawaiian that is just it's off the charts good.
I can't wait. Can't wait.
There's a reason I like you. I knew that was what it would be.
Kevin, we're 4-0 here with men's basketball, which is great. I think, the Monmouth game scared us all a little bit, if we're being honest. But I would say, I think cautiously that I agree with Coach Mills after the game, and that it is important to win, those games where you had every opportunity to lose them. And they certainly did against a team that they shouldn't have been in that situation against in the first place, but they did figure it out. And what I thought was optimistic about it is that they did it in a way where they made an adjustment in the game that they knew shots aren't falling. We're going to get to the free throw line. And they attacked that way. And I do think that adjustment is important for a team as it goes through the course of a season.
Man, I totally agree. And I think about, you guys have been around this deal for a long time, and there's rarely a season where a team will just dominate all the way through. You don't have your A game every day, and so you do have to figure out how to win games when you're not playing your best or the shots aren't falling. And, I think it was somewhere in the range of 7 or 8 uncontested shots that just did not go in the first 8 minutes of the ball game. And that stuff can get contagious, and you worry about that in game. We went into halftime, guys. We were 11 of 21 from the free throw line. Now, made some adjustments, and they had a really good conversation, and you saw some really exciting leadership within the roster at halftime. And they come out and they shot 9 for 10 from the free throw line in the second half. Really, really important. missed a bunch of 3-pointers, and then obviously Corey hit a really critical one at a critical time late. I think that put us up 3 at the time. So at the bottom line is, we were minus 10 in rebounds going into halftime, and we out rebounded them in the second half. So it is a team that showed us, at least for that night, that they can figure out a way to grind through it. As heart wrenching and gut wrenching it was for all of us to watch, they figured out a way to get through it, to improve free throw shooting in game, to improve the rebounding piece in game, to get to the rim and find a way to win. And guys, you're seeing it all over the country. North Texas just took a tough loss. I watched Montana State almost beat Northwestern last night. It happens to every team in college basketball. You're going to have a handful of games where you just don't have your A game, and can you figure out a way to grind through it and find a win? And they did. And doing so without Quincy, who clearly does a lot for us on a game, right? He stretches the floor, creates a lot of space. He's a menace inside in terms of blocking shots and getting rebounds, and certainly that would have made a huge difference the other night, but wanted to be cautious with him because the next 3 games are critically important. And Coach Mills and I had a conversation after the game, and he said, it was kind of a 50-50 game time decision, and we decided to be conservative and cautious on it, which I think is smart. And he said, and I felt like we would have enough to win this type of game. And I looked at him, I smiled, and I said, well, you did. So let's move on. Let's get away from this one and move on and get ready for the next one. So,
and that's a really interesting point. I was the first time I saw them in person this year was Northern Iowa. And that's interesting that you bring that up, because I thought and I don't know that I would say cautious, but I think that they could have pushed the gas on Northern Iowa, but they took it out to secure the win. So that's sort of where I keep debating with myself, right? This team got off to a 7-1 start last year, and we all know what happened after that. So we're trying to look at the things that make us think that's not going to happen. I would like to see them put the pedal to the metal on a team late in a game. But at the same time, Paul Mills knows, and you can't lose any of these games. We've talked, how many times have we talked about the importance of the non-con and winning those games when it comes to resume building? So I get it. You can't take any risks in these games because you can't afford to let one get away.
Yeah, and I would tell you the strength that we've got coming up is certainly firm. You've got currently, early in the season, guys, I like to use KenPom, but KenPom is a little bit of a challenge when you only have maybe a handful of games of data in there. You really don't know where you sit, but you've got a top 120 team in St. Louis that we're going to play on a neutral site, which counts a little bit more on a neutral site, obviously, in terms of what quad they land in. And then you've got a top 100 currently sitting at 77 Minnesota team that will play at 11 a.m. on Thanksgiving Day, ESPN2. That will certainly be a great challenge. And then depending on the result of that game, we're playing either Wake Forest or Florida the next day. So these next 3 games are really critical for what you would consider your at-large elements of your schedule, right? To be able to win those games and put yourself in a position to have the net that would be necessary at the end of the year to be considered for an at-large. So really critical. And then we come back and we've got Alcorn State, East Tennessee. We go to DePaul, who's better this year, Kansas City, K-State, and then we get into conference play. So it will be an interesting ride. The next 10 days will be really critical for us. So I like the approach the other night of trying to make sure that we enter those healthy, and we'll do the best we can with that.
Kevin, when you look at this schedule, you brought it up, the fact that you've got St. Louis, Minnesota, and either Wake Forest or Florida. You've got major teams from major conferences, and you look at those particular games, it's kind of interesting that this team would be in a situation undefeated going into these games, because right now you're at that point with Wichita State where guys like me, guys like Jake, people who have been around this basketball program for years and years and years, this is kind of the expected. This is, Kevin, yeah. This is kind of where we expect this team to be. This is Wichita State basketball. And it's nice to see some of this kind of, the undefeated talk you've got. I swear to goodness, you got great chance to beat St. Louis. I know you really do. But Minnesota, Florida, and Wake Forest, how great are those for resume building? This team needs these games, and they need them as bad as any program in America.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. They're all very, very important. And I would think that there might be ADs and great radio personalities that are having a similar conversation in other cities that say these next 3 games are critically important, probably more so for this program than any other one in the country. At the end of the day, they're all incredibly important, and we know the expectations. The expectations are aligned both externally and internally in terms of where we want to be. And you've heard Coach Mills mention numerous times that elevators don't get to the penthouse right away. It takes a little bit of time and a little bit of building. You can see whether it's NFL, college football, there might be dynamics that change on a staff or coordinators a team that like, think about Clemson football, right? Brent Venables is their defensive coordinator for a really long time. He gets the job at Oklahoma. And Clemson certainly is a quality football program, but they're not where they used to be. And there's a number of reasons for that. But the margin is so thin, guys, that if you have 4 or 5 years that are dry, that are not up to expectation, and there are certain elements that impact the program that you've got to figure out a way to get those back to where they need to be so that collectively they can put your program where all the expectations need to be. That stuff doesn't happen overnight, and it can certainly slide quickly. And so certainly we have an expectation to win every game that we're in. We want to go 1-0 every single day. The odds that we're going to get through the season, and be 30-0 would be a challenge. And but at the end of the day, just trying to get better, trying to stay healthy, trying to make smart decisions. And I really like where Coach Mills and the staff have this team. And I think it'll be a really entertaining week ahead of us.
I think so too. So St. Louis, real quick, I don't know a lot about them, but we started to look yesterday. Brandon Zenner and I didn't even realize they brought over Indiana State's coach. I think I did, and then I forgot. We all wondered why he took that job. Anyway, as an aside,
Player of the Year last year.
But he brought in, Robbie Avila. Now, I think he's hurt. I think there's a chance he misses this game, and so. Just as as we know, it's going to be on razor thin margins in the at-large anyway consideration. That's an opportunity, I think, for Wichita State. You could get St. Louis without Avila. If you win that game, I don't think the committee is going to go back in March and look back and say, you know what? In late November, that quality win for Wichita State, St. Louis didn't have Avila. I don't think they're going that fine-tooth comb. That's an opportunity for the Shockers coming up against St. Louis.
I don't disagree with that. Having an opportunity to, when we were in Lexington, Mitch was on the NCAA selection committee, and he'd have a small group, a handful of us, that we split up all the leagues and probably watched 200-300 basketball games a year. And we helped him get ready for the NCAA tournament. We had an opportunity to bring the NCAA basketball staff in, and we did mock selections with them. So we have a little bit of an understanding of how that process works. Injuries are taken into account. But as you mentioned, Jacob, the when and the where and the how, it's really difficult to track all of those. So certainly it would be an opportunity, but at the end of the day, we've got a plan for Robbie, and I know our staff will have a plan if he plays or if he's limited. What's really interesting about the St. Louis team, I was looking at Ken Palm last night, and they run a stat at the very bottom that's called 2-foul participation, which is basically the total number of minutes in the first half that would be available to all players on your team if they had 2 fouls, right? And you look at basically percentages. Well, of all available minutes for players with 2 or more fouls in the first half for St. Louis, they play 58.1% of those minutes. So what that speaks to you, I think, a little bit is depth or coaching style, where coach is fine playing a player 58.1% of the time is fine playing a player that's got 2 fouls in the first half. Well, then conversely, you look at bench minutes, right? And that 2-foul participation number ranks 21st in the country. So it's pretty high. And then you look at bench minutes, and they're sitting at 364th in the country. So it may not be quite as deep a group. And if you've got a Wichita State or anybody else that can run 8, 9, 10 players, you might have an opportunity there as well. So it's really interesting to see how these things evolve throughout the year. And at the end of the day, we've got a great opportunity on Friday night. I think it's really important for our fans to know that that's not on the ESPN family of networks. That one's actually being broadcast on Peacock TV. So that one's really important to know. That's at 9:30 Friday night at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City,
which will be a blast. Real quick, and then we'll get to volleyball and what's coming up this weekend. Mate. So Quincy Ballard, tweaked an ankle. We think hopefully he's fine. That meant a lot of minutes for Mate. I think we paid a lot of attention to him and his eligibility. He's here. I think offensively he's looked pretty good. I think defensively he's got a ways to go. How is he quickly? Because he was thrust into this thing. What's your take? How often do you talk to him? How are things coming for him and his acclimation?
He is an unbelievable young man. He is so appreciative of, locker rooms and jerseys and gear and relationships. And he's so cordial. He's appreciative to be here. He's again, I'm not an expert in this area, but he's kind of a pass first guy. You can see the floor really well offensively. You've seen him pass it really well offensively. It was funny the other day. I think Coach, he shared a story with the media that he said to Mate in the first half of, I think it was the UNI game. It was the UNI game. He said, look, we need to see 5 or 6 shot attempts from you in the first half, or you may not play in the second half, because he's a pass first type guy and certainly has been very helpful in that. And he went for 9 points against UNI and had a productive first half, and he was able to back guys down. You may have seen the turnaround jumpers from the left side where he banked it high off the glass, and he did that twice in a row. Like, some really impressive offensive skills. It's just getting him in the mindset to go eat, if you will, offensively, and then obviously continuing to work on defense. But every time he plays well, I always shoot a text to Corey Torgerson's our associate AD for compliance, and I said, hey, buddy, it won't be there, but in my heart, there's an assist in the box score to Corey Torgerson in our compliance office for making that one happen. So those guys did an awesome job.
Coach, it's I'm sorry. I've talked to so many coaches. Kevin, this is one of the things that I really love about Wichita State. We're getting ready to head into the volleyball tournament for the AAC just coming up. Wichita State goes into this tournament as a 4 seed. Listen, this is a volleyball tournament that Wichita State can win, can't they? This is a good volleyball team.
It is a good volleyball team. We were preseason picked second in the league. We did struggle against the top 2 teams in South Florida and Rice. But at the end of the day, we've got an opportunity to compete for a championship in our home venue. There is a lot of pressure in that, but there's also a lot of opportunity in that. And so as a 4 seed, I think we're in a good position where, provided we can win the first match first day, you've got an opportunity to knock somebody off in the second day and then make a little run at it. And certainly that's what we expect, what Coach Lamb and our roster expects to do. It's a great group of young ladies. We had a very difficult last weekend where we went down to North Texas and lost that one in 5. And then came back and lost senior day to UTSA, which were the 11th and 12th best teams in our league. Certainly hurt us a little bit. We would have sat probably in the 3rd seed, which, again, by and large, doesn't make a whole lot of difference because you're going to have to beat 1 or 2 to win the championship. But this is a group that I think is hungry, and I'll be really, really interested to watch them compete at home here for a championship this week.
And just real quick before we let you go on that, Kevin, you guys are obviously hosting. So what do fans need to know, and what's available for fans to consume this tournament in person?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're running on Friday. We'll have 4 matches. There's an 11, a 1:30, a 5, and a 7:30. The Shockers will play Tulsa at 7:30. That'll be the 4-5 matchup. And basically the way the tickets work is like an NCAA basketball tournament where the 11 and the 1:30 are session 1. So you can just buy a session 1 ticket. You can buy a session 2 ticket, which is the session that the Shockers will be in, and you'll get UAB and number 1 South Florida at 5, and then you'll get WSU and Tulsa at 7:30. Provided we're fortunate enough to win that one, then we would play in Game 6, which is 2:00 on Saturday. likely going to pick up South Florida, which is the number 1 seed. So that'll be a critically important match for us. And then you've got a championship at noon on Sunday. So we got an opportunity to put together 3 really quality matches and fight and scratch and claw our way into an NCAA tournament. And certainly we have a great opportunity to do that with competing at home.
Kevin, we appreciate it. Looking forward to this stretch of volleyball games, but this stretch of men's basketball is going to be a high level, a blast to watch. Can't wait for it. It's 3 opportunities, well, 2, I guess we'll say, on national television for the Shockers. So it's a big week. We know they're getting ready for it. We appreciate your time, and next time we talk, we'll know how they did when they made their way through it.
Yeah, and you guys have a great Thanksgiving, and thoughts be with you and all your families, and Shocker Nation, have a great Thanksgiving. Keep in mind our women are playing Monday and Tuesday as well. Next week, they're going to be down in Florida for their MTE. They've got a really firm, good Creighton team on Monday night. And then depending on the result of that game, they'll play Missouri or Syracuse. So really firm next couple of games for our women as well, who came off a tough loss against number 9 Oklahoma last night. So certainly thoughts will be with Terry and our young women in our program that'll be traveling on Thanksgiving week next week as well.
That's right. Safe travels for everyone. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family as well, Kevin. We'll talk again in a couple of weeks. There goes Kevin Saul, Wichita State Athletic Director. Always appreciate those visits. It is a fun time of the year, especially when men's basketball is off to an unbeaten start. We'll see if the women can get things turned around too. We'll dig into that maybe on our next visit. Speaking of Thanksgiving, Paul, on the way out, HTO right now, you can order in-store or on the app your Thanksgiving gallons. So it's buy 3, get 1 free for HTO gallons right now. It's a perfect final touch to your Thanksgiving meal plans. You can get on the HTO app and order those buy 3, get 1 free. And also right now, we're going to give you an opportunity while you're in there to utilize a free iced tea and a free coffee. We'll give you one of each. Here's a giveaway for you at HTO, any of the Wichita Metro locations, east or west or in Derby. All you got to do to win those free prizes as you go in to order those Thanksgiving gallons is text the keyword T, T-E-A, to the short code 20357, T to 20357. We'll be right back. We've got Terry Harrison, Friends football coach, ahead of their playoff game coming up a little later in this hour. We got another segment before that, though. That's what we're coming back with next on Sports Daily.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems
Why are they hiding it?
and real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Oh, Paul, catch your breath yet? This is a
Well,
crazy
this has
Wednesday.
been a heck of a show, hadn't it?
It's been a
We
crazy
had-
Wednesday.
Well,
it's been-
it's obvious we're nuts. Just look at us. Look at our
That's
shirts.
true.
I mean,
That's
we're
true.
nuts. Come on now.
Just want to let you know that for this segment, the IHOP hotline is back open. IHOP, the official breakfast partner of Xbox, celebrating with exclusive Xbox merchandise, games, reward offers for loyalty members. 869-1240 is that number. Don't forget, you can also leave us voice messages. Look, if you're and you can do this anytime, even if you're listening to us in our podcast form after the fact, you can leave us a message. We can get to it the next day if it's relevant, but you can hit the little microphone there when you're listening to us on the Odyssey app. You can leave a message. Those go straight to Jad there. Jad can get them. They can put them out over the air, whatever you want. That's another way to get in touch with the program. You can also, of course, watch us anytime on our video streams, Facebook, YouTube, X, always available for you if you want to go back and watch it on 12 News Connected. Appreciate everybody the way. We've got Terry Harrison, Friends University football coach, coming up here in just a little bit. They've got a big playoff game coming up this weekend. Proud of their season. Paul, we don't always have time to cram everything in here. We focus on, the things we think matter to the most people. I want to give a shout out when we can. And Friends has had a really nice year, and we're happy they're in the playoffs.
Yeah, always glad to see. Well, I mean, whether it's Newman or Friends or anybody like that, it's always fun.
JUCOs, right? Yep. We love it. We love
it.
that. We love that they're having a big year. So we'll talk to Terry Harrison here pretty quick. 10-1 on the season, hosting a playoff game this weekend against Ottawa University, Arizona. It's the first round of the NAIA football championship playoff. So we'll get to that next segment. All the college basketball talk. If you missed any of it, you can go back and listen to it on the Odyssey app. We talked K-State to open the show, talked a lot of KU hoops with Shreyas Laddha. Talked just a little bit about KU football against Colorado coming up this weekend, Paul. And I know this we'll pick this game later in the week. What is your first read on that game this weekend for KU? K-State, of course, after a disappointing loss. They host Cincinnati as 8.5-point favorites, but everybody's going to be watching right now. KU taking their shot against Colorado. Vegas is paying attention to the Jayhawks. They had them within a field goal basically last week of BYU going into the game. Now they've got them again within a field goal of Colorado. What's your early read on this game?
Right now, KU, and I think I'm correct on this, KU might be the most interesting football team at the college level in the entire country. I don't care what conference we're talking about.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I agree. I don't, we're geographically biased, obviously.
Right, obviously.
But there may not be another team that's going to roll into these games with the record that KU has that is more of a threat, right? More of a threat to a perceived massive upset, right? The whole country, outside of people that really focus in on the Big 12 and know what KU's season has consisted of and all the close losses, like you're watching that from the outside, and you're like, a 3-win KU team went on the road and beat BYU in Provo. I mean, right. BYU felt it in the CFP. Look how far they dropped. But the reality is Vegas is way smarter, right, than probably anybody on this stuff. Mm-hmm. And they made them like only a 2.5, 3-point dog in that game. Same the week before, right? So I agree with you. Everybody's going to be like, what's going on with KU? But everybody hasn't also been watching and know how disappointing this season has been because of all the close losses. They don't realize this team is good enough to be right at the top of the Big 12, just like we thought they would be at the beginning of the season. So, yeah, I'm with you. They're going to create a lot of buzz and interest because people are going to only see their record and think that's not a very good football team, when we all know here that that's not true.
Right. And of course, listen, if you watched any of the BYU, they were good. KU was good against
they were
BYU.
Good. Look, it took a pooch punt off the helmet, right, and a great play defensively. They could have easily lost that game, but they could have easily won so many other games this year too.
But BYU is, in my opinion, at this point, I've been thinking this the best team in the Big 12.
Oh, you really think that?
I really do, because after all, who are they? I mean, I go back to that night that BYU beat K-State. K-State was undefeated in league play. We had K-State, maybe running the table. I mean, and they beat them. And not only did they beat them, they beat them.
That was a weird game.
Solidly. And ever since then. Now, I will confess, I watched most of that BYU KU game, fell asleep a little bit in the fourth quarter, got a little
drunk. Late night.
I can't say I saw the whole game. But with that being said, I was so impressed with the way the University of Kansas played. And I was really proud of them because I don't know what that coaching staff has done, what they have said, or what they are doing to get this team to switch around from day and night. I said, but whatever it is, put it in a bottle and sell it. You'll get rich. I don't know what it is, but you will be wealthy if you can figure it out. But with that being said, I think KU at this point right now is without a doubt the most interesting team in the Big 12, notwithstanding Colorado, notwithstanding K-State, notwithstanding Iowa State.
Your point is good. They are. They could easily be 6-4, 7-3, 8-2, right? I don't think BYU is the best team in this league. I think the best thing that could happen for this league this year is probably Colorado.
Right.
Makes it through.
No, I get it.
I think when I look at it, it's a mix of four, and BYU's in that mix. So I don't want to take anything away from the year BYU's had, because it's been fun to watch and it deserves a lot of respect. And that game was really close against KU. But when I look at it, I think the best thing that could happen for the league is either Colorado, Arizona State, or maybe on an off chance K-State, if they figure it out and turn it back around, gets in there. Because I think those are the most interesting teams. I also think they're the teams that have the best shot to actually have a chance to do something in a playoff game. And if we want to whittle it down even further than that, I mean, it may just be Colorado, right?
Got to be.
But but K-State was good enough to beat Colorado. BYU was good enough to beat K-State. So it's all, it's all jumbled up there.
It is.
I'm not convinced BYU's the best team in this league. I don't think they're going to beat Arizona State this weekend, quite frankly. Maybe that'll be a game we pick. I'm not sure yet. But I think Arizona State's favored at home, Paul. I think Arizona State's going to beat them. Okay. I think Arizona State right now, healthy. Arizona State's really good. Really good. They got one loss without their quarterback that you kind of shake your head at. Everything else looks good for them. But we'll get more into that. It's a good topic. When we return, though, Terry Harrison, Friends University football coach, joins the show. We're going to talk about their playoff game coming up this weekend. Paul can, of course, wax poetic, go nostalgic on his time at Friends back in the day.
That's right.
We're all rooting for the Falcons. We'll talk to Terry Harrison next on Sports Daily.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere. Bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Everybody to Sports Daily. Jacob Albrock, Paul Savage in for Tommy. Joined now for the first time this season. Happy to have in Terry Harrison, Friends football coach, as Friends gets ready to host the opening round of the NAIA Football Championship Series. It's a massive, massive football tournament. You guys welcome in Ottawa University of Arizona. That'll be Saturday at noon if you want to get down there and check out the game on campus. Terry, welcome into Sports Daily. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me, guys.
So this is what I love. I've been an advocate for a long time at the Division I level to get a big playoff. And for a long time, part of the argument was, oh, you can't make those kids play that many games. You can't do that. There's too much. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, guys, I went to a Division II school. You have no idea what you're missing out on. So just wrap your head around this. Correct me if I'm wrong, Terry, but 5 more wins. You guys have played 11 games this year. If you want to win a championship, it's going to take 5 more wins. 5 more wins. At any point, are you or your team or anybody sitting there thinking, man, that's too many games, right? Like, we don't want to play that many games.
No, man, we want to play as many games as possible. Right. Like off seasons are long and all that good stuff. And, I think coaches love practice and all that good stuff. But for kids, I think as many opportunities to actually play and settle things on the field is what you want to do for sure.
Well, Coach, one of the things that I've got to tell you is I coached football back in the day, 8 years at Friends under Coach Byers and under Coach Key. So I've been around Friends. I know Friends. I love Friends. It's a wonderful place. Coach, I have a 1994 KCAC championship ring, and I was going to wear it on the show and show it to you. I couldn't find it. I don't know where it is. I was going to wear it on the show. But anyway, it's great to have you on and great to talk a little Friends football. I'll tell you what, go 10-1 is unbelievable. People don't realize how hard it is to win a college football game, let alone 10 out of 11 games, Coach. Great job. What was your secret? What is the main ingredient in going 10-1 in a really good football league?
Well, you kind of proved it for me. But I need to show my kids this. We tell our kids all the time that championships are awesome and everybody loves championship rings, but in the end you lose them and you can't find them. All right, so I tell my kids that all the time. And so what we focus on is having the best team culture in all of college football. That's our goal. And I don't know how you measure that. But I can tell you on campus, we have phenomenal kids and man, just a spirit of gratitude on our campus who have truly changed, the campus culture here at Friends University. It's just so welcoming, so awesome. And, when you come out and meet our kids, they're very easy to cheer for, and we work really hard at the team culture part of things. And I think you can feel that when you come in and watch our guys play.
Tell us about this team for, the folks out there. And I haven't watched you guys a ton this year. I've been following along to the great year, but tell us about the team. What's the identity? What are you guys doing well to get to this point in the first place?
Yeah, well, we've led since I started coach. I coached at Wichita Heights High School for a long time. I learned under Coach Rick Wheeler there, who I think still to this day the best coach I've ever known. But we have an identity of running the football. We've led the country in rushing. Every year I've been a college football coach, but the last 3 years here at Friends University. And so led the rushing touchdowns, rushings. Our quarterback's Cavante Baker, who's a Wichita Heights kid. So anyone in Wichita would know that name, and just absolutely electric kid, electric football player. And then defensively, we've led the country in sacks and tackles for loss. So really fun brand of football to watch. We do some unique things. We run the flex bone on offense, which was a Wichita Heights thing for a long time. And then defensively, we get after people a lot. That's truly what it is. And just, great kids, great players, and a lot of Wichita kids. I think basically every city league school and every suburban school is represented on our roster. So we're doing it with a lot of homegrown kids.
You won at least 3 games by 6 points or less, and a couple of them by 1 point. You look at that, you look at a game like Southwestern, you look at a game like Evangel, you look at a game like McPherson. You could have lost those games. Mm-hmm. Very easily lost those games, but you turn around and win those kind of games, win the close ones, win a bunch of close ones. What does that say about your team going into the playoffs? Because it's got to give you a good feeling that my team is resilient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And that's that's the benefit of playing in those tough games. Our guys have been in pressure moments. We've had, 2 of the wins. We had 16 plus play drives. We had to do a 19 play drive to go down to beat McPherson. And so our kids are just absolutely tough guys. They love each other. They compete for each other. And so I do think it'll be an advantage. Auto Arizona's won some really big games. They have some pretty big point spreads. And, they really haven't been in a bunch of tough, close games. And so, number one, they're really good. But then number two, we hope that, in a playoff environment, that gives us a little bit of a competitive advantage, kind of the idea if we've been there before.
Terry, you mentioned the local kids, all the suburban schools represented. And I know Paul has talked about this in the past, too. It's not like recruiting for other schools. You guys have to do it a different way. You got to go find kids that really just want to play football, right? Mm-hmm. And you can do it at a local level. I think that's the connection for fans that you're looking for. All those great players we see on Friday that want to just keep playing football and are great football players, and they get the opportunity to do it. How's that translated for you? You coached a lot of those kids, obviously, and or coached against them. Now you get to kind of bring them all together.
Well, it's been awesome for us. I think being a high school coach locally especially has been a huge advantage because we just know all these guys, and I coach with them or against them all. And even more than that, I think in the world of college football now, it's just, you guys do this for a living. You understand it's absolute chaos. Between the transfer portal, between NIL, and I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm not here to necessarily say that. But what I will tell you is that gives us a competitive advantage. When our kids come here, they stay. And so I'm proud to say since 2018 coaching in college, we've never had a starter transfer from our program. And I hope that speaks, number one, to our program and our team culture. But then number two, just to Friends University, it's a great place. And I think what happens is, when you drive by on Kellogg all the time, it's just kind of one of those landmarks. It's kind of like the Keeper of the Plains. You drive by it, but maybe you never visit. And I'll tell you, one of the coolest things is when people visit Friends and they meet, there's always, number one, it's nicer than I thought. And then number two, man, just great people. And it really does make an impact on people that visit.
I'm still coaching football at East High, so I'm around all these kids all the time. How important is it for you to recruit Wichita kids out of the City League? And let's throw in Sedgwick County and all the teams that are around. Let's say within a 50-mile radius of Wichita. It would seem to me, and it's always been this way, that you recruit a Wichita kid. If nothing else, he can still live at home for a while, and it makes it a lot more affordable. How important is it to get good Wichita kids out of Wichita onto the Friends roster?
Well, it's super important, and, like you mentioned, just being local and being close to home, how it is. So many kids, like we mentioned, the transfer portal thing, so many kids that have this dream of growing up and going away from home. But, and I know as adults, man, so many kids go away and realize maybe leaving home wasn't the best necessarily idea. And having a home support system is really awesome. And so the really cool part here is you can live at home if you choose. If not, living in our dorms, which are the nicest dorms in the state of Kansas, that can be as far away from home as you make it. But no, it is super important. And I'll tell you, we really take great pride in that. And, that's a two-way street, right? What can happen is when it's so close to home, like I already mentioned, it can almost be an afterthought. But I can tell you, once kids get on campus and they meet our players, we do have guys from all over the country, but we definitely want to build it with as many homegrown kids as possible.
Terry, you guys play at noon Saturday. Big game. Get out there, check it out. Friends off to a great start. Again, it's a massive playoff format in NAIA. It's I believe there's 8 teams that'll get a bye. A lot of rounds, a lot of football still to be played. So get out there and check out Friends, and guys stay healthy and get on a run here.
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate that, man. We're really excited about it. And like I said, we'd love to have anybody that would love to should come watch our kids. And more than anything, you will feel that spirit of gratitude among our players.
Yeah. You ever need a D-line coach? I'm over here.
No doubt.
Still got it. All right, Terry, we appreciate it. Thanks for joining us, and we'll try and do it again soon as you guys hopefully make a run through this thing. There goes
yes, sir.
Terry.
Thank you.
Terry Harrison, Friends football coach, joining us there. Great high school football coach in the area. Yeah, Friends is that collection of the great players that it's always been a fun thing to have, right? In the right in the backyard, which is a great venue too. I love that campus.
It's a nice stadium. I mean, it is really a wonderful stadium. And if you're a coach and you're up in a press box, it's a great place to be. But great atmosphere. The campus is right across from the main part of the stadium. I mean, it's just a beautiful, beautiful view from there. There's a lot of advantages at Friends University. And of course, a lot of kids end up at Friends because they want the big city experience. They want to be in a place like Wichita, and so it's really a good thing. And this coaching staff right here at Friends right now doing a great job.
There you go. Just really, really nice start. Glad to get Terry Harrison in. Glad they reached out to set that up. We appreciate it. Yeah, and we'll try and do a little more of that as they hopefully make a run. We love any kind of postseason action. I tell people that all the time. Like if you've got a win or go home situation, I'm in. Like I'm interested. I'm there. At that point. Right. We can't make time for all the things all the time, but once you hit a postseason format, I'm in, baby.
There you
that's
go.
That's why we love the Division I college football playoff now.
We do.
We finally get to get out there and prove it.
That's right.
And it'll be better than ever this year. All right, it's a busy night on the network tonight. Lots of programming to get you through. We'll do that next on Sports Daily.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems
Why are they hiding it?
and real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
All right, that'll do it. Paul, happy Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday to you.
Same to you, my friend.
It's a good one today here. So coming up tonight, you got the Chiefs Kingdom show right here on KFH. That's at 6 o'clock. Then at 7 o'clock, the Chris Kleiman Coaches show right here on KFH. If you're out and about and you need to listen to it away from your radio, you can listen to it always on the Odyssey app. Search for KFH or at kfhradio.com to take it there. Thanks to everybody for tuning in today. Thanks to our guests, Shreyas Laddha, Kevin Saul, and Terry Harrison. We will be back tomorrow. Another chock full day of guests and football previews. We'll see you then.